Welcome everyone. Let's wait for a couple of minutes so that maximum participants can join. And I request everyone to share the link as much as possible so that none of you can miss this very big opportunity of this informative webinar.
Share this link in your branch and with your friends as well, as it will prove to be useful to you. Share as much as you can.
Okay, we can just start now.
Okay, so yeah, let's start. Greetings to everyone. I, Rishita Datta, pursuing my B.Tech from the Production and Industrial Engineering of Batch 2K21.
And I, Rahul Kumar, pursuing my BTech from Electrical Engineering of BAS 2K21. Welcome you all on behalf of IETE Students Forum.
Let me give you all a brief about what exactly our club does. IETE Students Forum is a techno management club of BIT Sindri. It is a sub branch of the IET national body which aims to empower youth through technical education and skill development. Here, we conduct webinars and workshops on various technical topics.
Today, our guest speaker would be acquainting the participants about industry standards of wireless communication. He will be sharing his experience about the technology of 4G and its use. Also, he will be acquainting us about the marvelous technology of 5G communication. Our guest speaker for today is Mr. Pawan Kumar. He pursued electronics and communication engineering from NIET Greater Noida. He did his M.Tech in communication system engineering from IIT Patna. Currently, he is working as a staff in MediaTek Bangalore and is working on LTE physical layers feature.
We welcome you, sir. So, before we continue further with the webinar, let us have a glimpse of the events taking place under IET Students Forum. Can we have the video, please?
Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the. Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the. I'm climbing up the. I'm climbing up the. I'm climbing up the.
All the participants are wholeheartedly welcome to our program. We hope that this program will prove useful to you as Pawan sir is here to help you dive deep into the topic of wireless communications and to share his experience about 5G, 4G, and further on.
Now we welcome Pawan sir to take over the proceedings of the webinar and share his experience to the participants. So without any further delay, let's commence the webinar with enthusiasm and positive vibes. Handing over the platform to you, sir.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Risita. Yeah, I'll share my screen. Guys, please confirm if my audio, video, and the screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir, you are audible sir, and
Am I
screen is
audible?
also visible. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay. And video is also fine. Huh? No fluctuations, no
Yes.
delay, anything. Okay.
Yes, sir. Everything's good.
Okay. Now we can start. So, myself, Pawan. I'm working as a staff engineer in MediaTek Bangalore, and my area where I'm working is the physical layer. Before starting the presentations, we would like to go into some flashback. And flashback means that when I was in B.Tech second year, I had some queries in my mind because the branch name was the electronics and communication. So electronics we used to see in our day-to-day life. Communications also we used to see in our day-to-day life. But how exactly the electronics and communication works, and what does it mean by the communications? So we got multiple questions during BTech second year, and we tried to explore more and more in the communications. Later, we get to know that the how the device works, or how actually the communication happens between two devices. So to understand the communications, we will go through some of the basics process, and after that we will have some means we will have some overview of the techniques that are being used in the LT systems and the LT advanced systems. After that, if time will be there, we will try to have some overview on the 5G systems as well, and we'll try to compare the 4G and 5G. Okay. So this will be the outline of the webinar today. First of all, we will go through the basic communication system. In basic communication system, we will see that how exactly the communication happens from the transmitter to receiver. What I mean to say that transmitter and receiver, there are two different devices. One is the device which is calling, and second device who will receive the call. So how exactly the communication happens means how our voice will be converted to the electrical signal and will get modulated and will reach to the receiver, and how receiver will be able to hear that. So we will try to have some idea of the communication systems in the first section. Second, we will have the introduction of the LT, well-known technology 4G, because everyone is using 4G nowadays in our country, and sooner they are going to use the 5G as well. So until we'll be able to understand the 4G, we will not be able to understand the 5G as well. So first we will try to understand the concepts of LT, how it came in the existence, and what are the techniques are being used in the LT. So that we will see in the LT introduction and the LT technologies. At the end, we will see the LT advanced technologies, and we will try to compare the features between the LT and the LT advanced. And at the end, we will see what are the profiles in the companies, means where you can explore more, or you can prepare yourself to go to these companies, and what are the companies' names. So we will try to have some idea of those companies and the profiles as well. Okay, so we will start with the basic communication system. Our communication actually means there are three different elements that are primarily used in the communication system. First is the phone one. I can take two different devices to make picture clear. Okay. So these are two different phones. We can think that this is the transmitter phone, or which is going to call, and this is the another phone which is going to receive the call. So these are two different elements that are going to be used, and that are the primary element as well. Along with that, there is one more element that you are seeing in between. In between, you see the space. Space means the channel. So these three elements will be primarily used when we are going to make a communication between the devices. One, device two, and the channel. Channel means it could be the space or the wired channel or the wireless channel, anything it could be. But our purpose is to send the informations from the transmitter, and it should be able to reach to receiver even after it is interfere or added by the noise as well. So here in the at the transmitter side, we see two main blocks in our basic communication system block diagram. First is the input transducers. In the input transducer, actually here you are able to see that the microphone is being used. Actually, microphone. How exactly the microphone came in the picture and how it is being used in the communication technology is that whatever I am speaking, first of all, it is being converted to the electrical signals. The job of the microphone is to get the voice signal and convert it to the electrical signal, because until we are able to convert it to the electrical signal, we will not be able to send it to the receiver. Because if we are communicating with someone, with friend or anything who is nearby, so no conversion is required, we can go and talk directly. No no system at all required. Just a channel is sufficient to communicate. But since we are communicating the person who is far from us, so it needs something which help us to convert the signal in the electrical signal, which can be travels in the communication channel after adding means after doing modulations and many things at the transmitter at the receiver side. So transducer jobs is to convert the voice signal to the electrical signal. After the electrical signal will get modulated because why? Actually, electrical signal, what is the converted electrical signal is there, that would have been produced at the very low frequency. If the frequency is very low, the signal won't be able to travel to the more distance, because it will get distorted, and receiver will not be able to hear it, or receiver will not be able to enjoy the things what the transmitter has sent. So our first job is that to convert the signal, electrical signal, what we got from the what we got as the output of the transducer, to the high frequency signals. So how actually the process will happen? That we will take some carrier. Carrier means it could be the high frequency carrier waves like sinusoidal or the cosine waves. And at the high frequency means it could be in the gigahertz or the higher megahertz, means more than 500 megahertz or 1 gigahertz or 2 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz. In 5G, it is going to the 6 gigahertz as well. So we are taking the high frequency, and we will try to change the properties of the high frequencies based on the signal. Because if you will send the waves which is not influenced by the input signal, that will reach to the receiver, and receiver will be able to decode it and will not have any information if it is not influenced by the signal. So what actually we do, we take the carrier. In the carrier, we change any of the parameter like amplitude or frequency or the phase. Any of the parameters will be changed based on the input signal derived by the transducer. And after that, the high frequency signal will be transmitted over the air in form of the EM waves. So here you can see that the signal is moving in the air in form of the high frequencies, in the high frequency EM waves. So electromagnetic waves will travel to the longer distance, and in the communication channel, actually different kind of the interferences will be called. Interferences, you can think of that means some kind of the noise and some kind of the interference, because means noise is the simply things, means we are directly adding some noise which could be due to the environmental noise or anything. And how the interference will come in the picture, because if means you guys or any of you try to make a call to me and I'm sitting in my room, so the signal what I'm going to receive from the network, that may be able to reach to me directly, or through some reflections or the diffractions as well. The signal which is coming to me directly will have the will be less interfere, means it will not have it will have the less interference, because it's not interfere by the environment more. but the signal which is received by me after reflections or the diffractions, that is interfere more because that has traveled a distance more compared to the line of sight part. So the receiver's job is that means we will see we have seen the modulator, we have seen the transducers, we have seen the channel, and how all these three elements will be used. Our fourth elements will be the receiver. At the receiver side, receiver's job is to get the EM waves first. So receivers will get the EM waves. In EM waves, it will take the signal and try to demodulate. How it will demodulate? At the modulator, we change the property of any of the parameters of like amplitude, phase, frequency. At the receiver type, at the receiver side, we will do the process in the reverse way, and we will take means how we will take. Let's assume we will take a case only that the amplitude is modified at the transmitter side. At the receiver, we will take the amplitude of the received signal, and after taking the amplitude, we will try to decode the information that is being sent by the transmitter. So this is the job of the demodulator. So demodulator, we will remove the carrier, and in the from the carrier, it will take the signal that is being transmitted by the transmitter. After that, the microphone or the output transducer will come in the picture, who will convert the electrical signals back to the voice. So this is the process that the how the signal will travels from one point to the another points, and these are the elements that will be used. So these are the primary elements which will be which have been implemented in everyone's phone. Everyone have these four elements: input, transducer, modulator, demodulator, out, and the microphone. Channel, anyway, we need to compensate it at the receiver. There are many techniques that we are not going to discuss because that is very complex as well, and that will be very lengthy as well because there are many coding techniques has to be used to eliminate the noise and the interference that are caused by the environment. So these four elements are required or are present in everyone's phone. So this is the basic of the communication system. And one thing, if anyone have any questions, they can send in the comment box. At the end, we will check all the questions and we'll try to reply all the questions. Okay. Yeah. So everyone has heard about the 2G, 3G, and the 4G. 2G is mostly used for the voice communication. 3G is used for the voice and the data communication. 4G is also used for the voice and the data communication, but the difference is that the voice call is also happens over the through the PS packets only. Because in the 2G, the CS packets means the circuit switching was used for making a call, but in the 4G, the packet switching is only being used for the call. So in form of the data only, the data communication or the means the audio communications will happen in the 4G. So since a 2C is just used for the voice and the 3G is mostly shut down in our country, because in most of the locations in our country, you won't see the signals of the 3G, means you won't get the 3G signals in your phone. If not noticed, you can check as well. Because most of the telecom companies have shut down their 3G services, so we will not go more in the 3G part. 2G anyway is used for the voice communications. So that is very much clear, and that can be understood from this basic communication system block diagram as well. So we will start with the 4G, and we will try to understand more in depth the 4G technologies. So as part of the introduction, LT stands for the long-term evolution, and the LT system is started from the 3GPP release date. What does it mean by the 3GPP? First questions would have come in everyone's mind that what is the 3GPP and the release date. Actually, this third 3GPP is the third generation partnership projects, and the different releases would have been made by the 3GPP, which will indicates that the different features has been means the added in the different release. So here the release 8 will indicate the starts of the LT. After that, release 9, release 10, up to release 15, 16 has been come and they implemented by the chipset manufacturing companies as well. So the start of LT is from the release 8. So what are the key objectives of the LTE that we'll see here? Actually, everyone who is using the LTE phone, means 4G phones or browsing the data, they are much more interested how fast they are able to browse the videos in their phone, how fast means how better they are going to experience the gaming services. Actually, all these things are possible because of the data rate concepts only. Data rate concepts means how much data the phone can get at once from the network. Higher the data rates will helps the users to get the better services in their phone. Means because you can practically think that you are trying to watch some movie and your movie is being paused in between due to the poor signal conditions or poor environmental conditions or the poor services of the operator as well. But if the services are very good of the operators and your phone is able to receive the data, you may enjoy the video whatever you are watching. Or if you are having a call with your friends, family, then you will be able to enjoy if there is not any kind of interference in your calls or not any obstructions in your call. So all this to make all these things possible, many of the research engineers are working in background. So actually, that you can understand more in the from the key objectives, how all these things will be meeting. Because at our side means everything is not free because you are going to pay 300 rupees for 1 month's plan to Airtel or to Jio. So because you are going to pay them, they are also going to pay to someone else because nothing is free to everyone. So here, it can be understood in that way. If you are going to pay them the 300 rupees per month for a services to get the voice and the data services, so then the telecoms operators are also going to pay that amounts to the government of India because they have also brought the spectrums from them to use it to deliver their services to the customer. So that's why I have mentioned that nothing is free, neither for customers nor for the service operators as well. So here in middle, you can see that the spectrum. One term is very common is the spectrum. Spectrum means the frequencies what the telecom operator got from the government of India to use it and to use it to provide their services to the customer. So more the spectrum, more the cost will be there. If more the cost of the spectrum, then more the money you need to pay for your services, for your telecom services. Everyone wants a cheaper plan. That's why the telecom company also go for the lesser spectrums only. So actually, the with the lesser spectrum also, it depends upon the chipset providers or the telecom companies how efficiently or the how effectively they are able to use the spectrum what they have brought from the government of India. So in our this slide, you can see that the spectrum efficiency is improved by 3 to 4 times. Then the high-speed downlink packet access. Actually, this is a 3G technology, 3G, and uplink spectrum efficiency is also increased by 2 to 3 times. Then the 3G, which is the high-speed uplink packet access. So, how exactly the spectrum efficiency is being improved? This is improved based on the advanced modulation techniques that we are going to discuss, advanced multiple access techniques that are going to be discussed further, and the MIMO techniques means the multiple input and the output antennas are being implemented in your phones. So these three are the key technologies that are being implemented in your phone, which helps to increase, which helps to effectively use the spectrum for the downlink and the uplink services. One important term here is that the round trip time. Round trip time means that you try to browse something. You type in the Google YouTube. How much time it will take? Actually, it depends upon the signal conditions and the bandwidth provided by the network. So you browse it, network sends the informations. How fastly it happens, that will depend upon the round trip time. So that is the round trip time is the communications happens between the network and the phone for means both way. So in LTE, actually the round trip time is decreased significantly from 50 milliseconds to the 10 milliseconds. Due to that, whenever you browse, you will quickly get the response from the network. Data rate is also very high in the LTE systems. It is improved by 10 times in the LTE. It is 100 Mbps in the excellent signal conditions. Many of you might complain that the such data rates we cannot see in our phone whenever we are going to watch, or means whenever they are going to check the speeds, they are also not able to see this much speed. Actually, why actually it's not able to see? Because this is depend upon the environment, and this is depend upon the bandwidth what the network has allocated to you only. If they are able to provide you the more bandwidth, or the signal conditions is also more means relatively very good, so in that case you can see the higher data rates in your phone. In example, you can see that means you are trying to browse something at the evening time, that will be like slightly slow compared to what you are going to browse in the early morning at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Why actually such things has happened? Because in morning time the users will be very less, so the more bandwidth you will be able to get from the network. If they will be able to allocate the more bandwidth to you, then you will be able to get the faster services from the network. So higher the data rate will helps user to enjoy their services. So here we can see the downlink data rate is 100 Mbps, uplink data rate is lesser, 50 Mbps. Actually, it is much more means clear also, means how can we see the means anyone can raise that why the uplink data rate is less than the downlink data rate. Why? Because we used to browse more, we used to download more, we used to get the information from the node more in compare what we are going to give to the node, means in form of the voice, in form of the data, in form of the uploadings, because our uploadings are happens in a very lesser time. So why we are going to use the more resources for the uplink? So for uplinks we will definitely use the less resources. For downlink we will definitely use the high resources. The third, last one is the support flexible bandwidth. In the downlink data rates concepts or the uplink data rate concepts, we have seen the means we have heard the much more about the bandwidth. Actually, how you can understand about the bandwidth? Bandwidth is something like a pipe. Means we can think of like that. This is a pipe with me. More the width of the pipe is there, then you will be able to send more the information. If lesser the width, then you will be able to send the less information. So high bandwidth will be able means high bandwidth will be used to deliver more services at a time. So LT systems support the flexible bandwidth, which can range from the 1.4 megahertz to 20 megahertz in six different variations. Means 1.4 megahertz, 3 megahertz, 5 megahertz, 10 megahertz, 15 megahertz, and the 20 megahertz. If you are browsing something or the browsing high speed videos, high quality videos, then the network will try to allocate you the higher bandwidth. But if you are making a call or trying to browse something which is which needs the very lesser bandwidth, or which needs the very lesser resources, network will try to allocate you the lesser bandwidth like 1.4 megahertz, because that is sufficient for you to complete your means to experience your services, or experience to get your services from the node. Okay, so in the next slide we'll go. Actually, in the first slide, we have seen the communication system, but here we will try to have some idea about how the phone calls may make happen. I will write everything at once. So here you can see two phones. One is your phone and one is your friend's phone or your family's phone or anyone. It could be anyone. You are trying to make a call. So your call will not directly go to your friend's phone or your family's phone, whoever you are going to call. that will be communicated through the network. First of all, you will make a call. That call will go to the network. Network will broadcast that call informations to all the phones, whatever is there in the range. So that information will be broadcast to all the phones, and all the phones will try to decode that information, and each phone will get some ID, means because that's why the mobile phone numbers is being used, because how the receiver will get to know that the call is intended for that UE, because network is not going to separately send it to the receiver's phone. Network is going to send that information on, is going to send that calls to everyone who is there in the range. Every phone will decode that information. Everyone will try to identify whether the call is intended for them or no. If the call is intended for them, then that specific phone, whoever is going to receive the call or whoever decoded the call as the means a true call for them, then they will send the they will acknowledge the network that the call is for them only, and after that the network will make the dedicated channel between phone 1 to phone 2. Prior to that, we hear that it's a broadcast channel. Means broadcast means no dedicated channel will be there between network to the node. But after the call is formed, the acknowledgement is sent by the receiver phone. Then the then the dedicated channel will be shared, and the dedicated resources will be allocated by the network to the phone 2, so that phone 2 can get the services through that channel only. So in this way, our communication will happen between phone 1 and phone 2. If any questions, you can write it in the comment box or in the chat box. We will discuss later. Yeah, this is a very interesting concept, and this is started from the LTE only, means from 4G only. Such concepts was not there before 4G. Actually, I would like to ask who wants the means who wants to buy the cheaper phone, or who wants to buy the costlier phone which will have the same services. If anyone who wants to buy the costlier phone which have the same services, uh, and we can get the comparative lesser phone as well, I think no one, because everyone wants the cheaper phone with the better services only, or with the better features only. So to make the phone cost lesser, we need means the research engineers needs to implement means go through the specs thoroughly, and they need to see all the concepts. They need to understand all the concepts thoroughly, and they need to implement as well. So if you want the cheaper one, then we need to think in the different way. Means if the phone is cheaper, then the hardware should be added means should be added lesser, and would have been used efficiently. So here two different terms are there, FDD and the TDD. FDD stands for the frequency division duplexing, and TDD is here for the time division duplexing. So FDD is a form, means the FDD is a technique where the different frequencies spectrums are being allocated for the uplink and the downlink services, and the uplink and downlink will happen parallelly at your phone. If that happens in your phone, then your phone will need two RF hardwares to process the TX and the RX data at the same time. But in our India, in our country, we used to see that we used to speak more, or we used to listen very less. So in that case, actually, there is some gap also between the speaking and listening also, because everyone who is going to speak that the same time might not be able to listen as well. It needs some gap. It could be of 1 second gap, 1 millisecond gap, or very lesser also. It could be lesser than 1 millisecond also for some of you. So the technique, what is mentioned in the specification is that we need to use the one frequency spectrum only for the uplink and the downlink services, so that we can use that spectrum and the hardware will be reduced at the phone, so that the phone cost will be less. So that you can think, you can see in the TDD concept. So here you can see that only one means two directional arrow is there. two directional arrow is there, means both network and phone is transmitting the data together, but it is the job of them, both of them, network and in the UE, that the UE has to receive the data in some specific time only, and they need to create some space to send the data. So both the things will not happen parallelly. It will create some gap to receive or transmit the data. That we will see in the coming slide. But definitely this will help to reduce the cost of the device, because in place of the two RF hardwares, one RF hardware only will be used by the chipset manufacturers or the phone manufacturer companies. This is what we have discussed in the previous slide. So here you can see in the FDD, the continuous 10 downlinks of frames, means in one downlink subframe means the 1 milliseconds. 1 milliseconds means the data will be processed, or the informations will be processed in form of the 1 millisecond by the phone or by the network. So in every 1 milliseconds, phone will receive the data, decode it, and convert it to the usable form. So here continuous 10 subframe will indicate that in continuous 10 subframe, phone receive the data, will decode it and convert it to the usable format. In below diagram, here the 10 uplink subframe will indicate that the phone continuously send the data in 10 continuous subframe, and node will try to decode it, the continuous 10 subframe, and convert it to the usable format. So these activities will not happen parallelly, will happen parallelly by using the different frequency spectrums. Means here we mentioned F1 and F2 for downlink and uplink simultaneously. This is the TDD concept. So here 10 different subframes are there. D here it is for the downlink. U it's here for the uplink. So based on many conditions, the UE or the mobile phone, you can understand. So mobile phone will try to configure the uplink in the downlink configure to the network, and network will behave based on this configurations what is configured by the UE. So here some of the subframes are used for the downlink, some of the subframes are used for the uplink, and some of the subframes are mentioned as special subframe. Special subframes means the subframe which will be partially used for the downlink, uplink, and the handover from the downlink to the uplink. Because RF need means the RF radio frequency hardware needs some time to switch their services from downlink to uplink. So that's why the special subframe is needed between the downlink and uplink. These are the operating bands which will be used to send the informations between UE and E0B. So these are the uplink and the downlink frequencies, and these are the width of the band, and this is spacing as well. So we will not dictate all these things. So these are the different bands which will support the different range of the frequencies. And depending upon the frequencies, UE and E0B will be able to communicate with each other. Initially, actually, when we were seeing the features of IoT, I mentioned one term, the modulation, or in the basic block diagram also you have seen the modulator and the demodulator. Actually, modulator and demodulator plays an important role to effectively use the spectrum, to effectively use the spectrum, and to increase the downlink and the uplink data rate. What is the modulation? Modulation is process of encoding informations, from a message source in a way that is suitable for the transmission. So in the first slide only we have seen that we will try to change the characteristic of the carrier signal based on the message signal, and we will send it in form of the RF carrier to the receiver, and receiver will demodulate and get the information which is being sent by the transmitter. So many modulation techniques has come in the picture, and many of them are used for the different purposes. Like means you can see that if the property means if the amplitude of the carrier is changed, so that will indicate to the amplitude modulation. If the frequency is changed, that will lead to the frequency modulation. If the phase is changed, that will lead to the phase modulation. So these are the different analog modulation schemes. But nowadays, analogs, frequency modulations we used to see in our FM systems only. And but nowadays, the digital modulation schemes are popular and that are being used in the LT and in the coming technologies as well. Actually, how you can understand the modulation scheme is that everyone would have would have studied the digital system. In the digital system, you would have learned how the analog signal is used to convert to the digital. Means the any electrical wave, how any electrical waves is converted to the signal 0101 format. So our 0101 would have been received, and 0101 will not be directly sent by the transmitter. Transmitter actually, how actually it works, the transmitter needs to send some energy signals. Means what how means what we can what how we can understand that here is the BPSK. We will take an example of BPSK and later you can extend it for other modulation schemes. In BPSK, only one bit will be sent at once, and one bit will have an one symbol, means one symbol of the information. If it is one, then we will send some positive voltage or the positive means some positive voltage or the positive power or the positive currents will send. If it is minus one, then we will try to send the less powers compared to the means the power what we have sent with the one signal one. So here we can take an example. If the bit 1 is being sent, then we will send 10 volt. If bit 0 is being sent, then we will send the 5 volt. At receiver's job, if they are going to get the signal close to the 10 volt, they will understand the 1 is being sent by the transmitter. If they are going to get the voltage close to 5, then they will be able to understand that the 0 bit is being sent by the transmitter. But some of the cases might be happens there when the receiver is able to get the signal 7.5. How actually it will happen and how receiver will behave on that. The problem will happen because of high interference or the poor signal conditions. Means you are inside the parking or you are inside the building. It means you are in some corners where the signal will reach after very difficulties. So in that case, the signal will be distorted more and the power of that signal will be influenced more. So in that case, if receiver is not able to identify whether the 1 or 0 is being sent, means what means let's means 1 here is indicate A and 0 here it is indicate I. Means if a receiver is not able to identify whether A or I is being sent, in that case the phone will send the acknowledgement to network that the previous message is not decoded by them and resend the message again. So network's job is to resend the message which is not being decoded properly by the receiver, and receiver will try to decode it again. So that is the process will happen. In QPSK, 2 bit will be accumulated together, and 4 different energies level or different voltage levels will be sent to which will indicate 11, 10, 01, 00. Is in 16 QAM, 4 different bits will be combined together, and 16 different voltages will be sent. Here 256 QAM, 8 bits will be combined together, and 256 different constellations or the energy levels will be sent by the transmitter. Higher modulation scheme will help to get the high data rates, but it will definitely add some error in case of the high modulation scheme. So in LTE, we are able to support 64 QAM, 256 QAM as well. That's why the data rate is very high. These are the multiple access techniques. What does it mean by the multiple access techniques? Actually, at user perspective, it's very clear that we are going to call or we are going to receive a single call at once. But to network, it is very difficult because network has to provide the services to the multiple phone parallelly. And they have the resources, they have the finite resources with them. So if network wants to provide the services to the multiple users simultaneously, they need to divide, means they need to use their resources correctly or in the more efficient way. In FDMA, The RF carriers or means based on the frequency sharing, the informations will be sent in the TDMA. The different time slots will be assigned to the different users, and the informations will be sent based on the different time slots. CDMA, which is the CDMA, which is the commonly used for the 3G, different codes will be assigned to the different users, and all the frequencies and the means all the bandwidths and the time will be assigned to each users and will be differentiated based on the codes. OFDMA, which is being used in the 4G, orthogonal subcarriers will be used to transmit the signals to the different users. So each user will allocate it with the specific resources, which varies in form of the time and frequencies. But by orthogonality, we can network can allocate more and more resources to the each users. So these are the different multiple access techniques that are being used in the our recent technologies. In 5G, actually, I saw that someone asked the questions, what is the difference between the 4G and 5G? Actually, it is the difference in the technologies only. In till 4G, you are able to see that the OFDM is being used, but in 5G, it will be extended to the non-orthogonal frequency modulation access techniques, or the NOMA techniques, or the FBMC filter bank multi-carrier technique, and the modulations will also be extended from 256 QAM as well. Means the higher modulation schemes will also be used, and the high bandwidth or the spectrums will also be allocated for the 5G to use their services. This is the MIMO technique. How many of you think that your phone have only one antennas? Means one RF antennas only you are having. Actually, recently, whatever phone is supporting 4G, they are having multiple receiver antennas, and many of them can work together. Actually, I will not go more in detail in the MIMO techniques. Means if your phone is able to receive the data on four different antennas, there could be two possible ways. Hello, am I audible to all of you? Can anyone ping? Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible. Yes, sir, you are perfectly audible.
Oh, okay, okay. No, thank you. So, uh, so here you can see that everyone's phone will have at least two or the four antennas, and the different antennas will be used for the different purposes. How we can try to understand that? Let's assume someone is making a call and using the phone like that. So if you means take your phone in that way, then this of the antennas will be blocked. So if this of the antenna will be blocked, then the manufacturer company would have make some other options of the antennas by putting at some other positions. They have put some antenna here and they put some antennas here, one antenna here, one antenna here. If these two antennas are blocked, then these two antennas will be used to get the services better. If you are using this phone like that, then these two antennas will be blocked, then the other two antennas will be used to get the services effectively. So here actually there are two advantages to use the MIMO techniques. If the signals what is reaching to phone through one antenna is very poor, then you phone will try to get the similar informations through the other antennas. Another, if the signal conditions are very good, if the signal conditions are very good, then means the network can send the different informations, means network can send the means the different segment of the informations through the different antennas, and you can combine all the informations and increase the means the data rates. This is the means the advantage of the MIMO techniques. I'll not go in detail of this transmitter and receiver chain. So this is limited to the LT. So these are the blocks which is being used at the physical layer. So here you can see after modulations, there is some technique, IFFT techniques, adding some cyclic prefix to reduce the interference and the noises. And here we are converting from digital to analog, and here mixing with the high frequencies. and after amplifying means the power is amplified and transmitted by the transmitter. So the similar process happens at the receiver also. So these are the features which is present in the LTE Advanced, that the carrier aggregations, multiple carriers can be supported together. High number of antennas can be used for the uplink and downlink. Uplink transmissions is enhanced. Relays is also being used. Relays is the that if the network is limited and the information is not going to transmit to the means far, then the relays or the repeaters will be used, and the heterogeneous network and the coordinated MP will be also implemented as part of the LTE Advanced. Here you can see that the downlink data rate and uplink data rate and the spectrum efficiency is significantly increased, and the round trip time is also increased, means reduced from the 10 to 5. So we came to our last slide. Here you can see that the different companies are being used, means different companies are manufacturing the chipsets. Here you can see MediaTek's name, Qualcomm's name, Broadcom, Apple, Samsung, HiSilicon, and the Intel. So all of them are competing for 5G, because 5G is our means the hot topic for all the chipset manufacturing companies, and everyone wants to contribute for the 5G technologies. So there are many chipsets are already being launched by the MediaTek, Qualcomm, and the HiSilicon already, which supports the 5G. Like the means you can check your phone, whatever phone you are holding, you can go to the specification. You can see that what is the chipset. Is it MediaTek Dimensity or the Snapdragon or Kirin or 5i series? So these are the different series being launched by these companies, and there are the different profiles in all the companies. Like you can enter in these companies as the software engineer or the RF engineer or the DSP engineer or the firmware engineer, or in the software engineer also you can work in the different layers. I mean in the physical layer, network layer, layer 3, layer 4. Means there are vast positions are available, and that are specific to the different layers or in the different segments as well. Means in the layer 1 itself it could be multiple, means it is divided significantly. Means it could be the controller, driver, or it may be the interface level between the hardware and the software. It could be the direct RF, means where the RF jobs to get the data directly from the node and decode that information in the usable format. So all these in all these companies, all the positions are available. Means most of the times it's available. You can keep browsing, keep checking, keep searching, and once you are eligible, you can apply. But before that, you need to understand the concepts of the communications. Whatever we have had in the webinar today, that is just a brief. But to enter in these companies or to face the interviews, you need the depth understanding of the LTC, means depth understanding of the communication systems. That you might be, means many of them who are there from the BTech third year or BTech fourth year or from the masters, they might know how exactly the communication works. But whoever is there in the BTech first year, second year, they will definitely understand all these concepts. Means not all this, means basic concepts they will understand in the BTech third year or BTech fourth year, and add some values by means by going through some lecture series or by going through some books which are dedicated to the communication systems. So I'd like to end the talk here, and you guys can raise your questions and let me know. Yeah. Thank you all for joining the webinar.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. It was really helpful and we learned a lot of new things. So,
Yeah.
without any further delay, we move on with the webinar. We are now open to questions, so we request the participants to drop in their queries on the comment section.
There are some questions in the comment section which we will be taking now. So requesting you, sir, to address it one by one as I read it out. And the first question is from Amrit Raj. The question is, isn't 5G will be harmful for the environment?
Definitely no. Actually, the high frequencies are definitely is being used for the 5G, but the range of the 5G frequencies will be very less, and it's a kind of rumors that it will going to harm to the environmental, but it's not like that.
Okay, now we have a second question from Amrit Raj itself again. What is the difference between LTE and VoLTE?
Actually, LT is an standard which used for the 4G systems, and VoLT is the voice over LT systems. So actually, as in my first slide, I told that means you can make a call through the CS or the PS systems. Means there are two different systems that will be used to make a call. Means the in 2G you can see that the circuit is being used for make a call, but in 4G, the packet is being used for make a call. So when the packet is being used to make a call in 4G, in that case, the VoLTs came in the picture. So here the call is being make miss call is make using the packets only. So that's what we know based by the means the VoLT only. So it's the section of the LT only.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is from Chandan Kumar. He asks that modulation is better.
The, actually, the concepts of the modulation is somewhat complex to the means the chipset manufacturers also means how exactly they need to judge which of the modulation is better. Actually, the modulation you can think of in that way if the signal conditions means if the environment is very clear and the signal conditions between the network and UE is very good means excellent. In that case, the higher modulation scheme like 256 QAM or the 66 QAM is better. But if the signal conditions are very poor or environment is not clear between network and UE, then the lesser modulation scheme like QPSK and BPSK modulation schemes are better. It depends upon the signal conditions of the environment only, which modulation schemes is better in that for them only.
Thank you, sir. That was quite an informative answer. And proceeding towards the next question, and it is from Rana Randip. What is visible light communication, sir, and how does it work?
I think visible light communication is not part of the wireless communication, but I think it's a part of the optical fiber communications. And in that case, the communication happens through in form of the light in the optical fiber cores. So you would have heard more about the optical fiber, and in your final year or the pre-final year, you will learn something more about in the optical fiber as well. So in optical fiber, through core, the lights will be communicated from one point of the locations to the another. So the same concept you can see in the cities where the data is being means transmitted by the different router companies through the optical fiber.
So that was quite informative, sir. So as we proceed further, there is a question from Priyanshu. What is the next big thing in communication sector?
Yeah, actually, there are many big things in the communication sectors. How you can see means we cannot be limited to the 4G only. Means 4G is limited to our personal uses only. But how of means who means many of you wants to make your life easier in terms of the experiences only. Like how you can want to means whoever is driving want to get more informations from your parallel vehicles. Means that is the device to vehicle communications that is possible due to the means by using the device to device communication. So that will be definitely part of our 4G and 5G technologies. And home automation will also be the part of the 4G and 5G where everything will be automated and will be controlled by your phone only. So there the data will be your primary requirements. And the other things is the machine. Every machines wants to communicate with each other by wireless medium only. So here the communication will play an important role. So these three sectors are going to be means you can see in your coming days, maybe next 2 year, 5 year, 10 years, and where the communication will play an important role, and the 5G will be the key factor there.
And the next question is from Supriya Sharma that how will 5G will be different from 4G?
Actually, there are two different ways to understand the answer of these questions. One is from the user perspective, and the another one is from the design perspective. We will try to see from both the perspective. In 5G, definitely the services will be improved compared to the 4G. Means the higher data rates you will see, and the spectrum efficiency will be better compared to the LT, and the round trip time will also is also reduced to the 1 milliseconds for the 5G. So this is the experience you used to see in the 5G system. And from the design perspective, higher modulation scheme, different multiple axis schemes, and the high order of the MIMO techniques will be used in the 5G compared to the 4G. That will make your experience smoother in the 5G compared to 4G.
Okay, we have another question. And what is the advantage and disadvantage of 5G?
Advantages, actually, I have already told in the previous slide that the user experience will be good in terms of the speed or in terms of the time. And disadvantages for the means the chipset manufacturers, because all these techniques what I have explained, like FBMC and the non-orthogonal MIMO techniques, high modulation orders, so that will be complex to implement by the mobile companies. But from user perspective, it is win-win scenarios only.
Thank you so much, sir, for addressing this Q&A session. So at the end, is there anything with which you would like to conclude our session?
I think most of the things we have covered, but there are some informations actually I can convey to the IIT committee members that how you can understand more about the LT and the 5G. I would like to share those references with you later through email or through any medium. Yeah. So anyone who is interested more to know about 4G and 5G, you can communicate that information with them. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm sure the queries of the viewers and the participants must have been resolved. So, at the end of this session, we will be conducting an exciting quiz competition and then we'll have something for the winners as well. So, stay till the end. And don't miss immense pleasure. We notify you that we have our respected professor in charge of the IET Students Forum, Professor Imtiaz Ahmed sir, with us on the stream. He has always been there for the club members and is an inspiration to all of us. He is hardworking and is determined to take this club to greater heights. We invite him to share some wise words and give a few words of encouragement for Pawan sir. Sir, please.
Good evening, Pawan sir,
Good
and
evening, sir.
you have highlighted very in a very good manner, and our students might have benefited. And 5G technologies are the wonders of this world. We are also trying to understand this technology fully, but we are not able to understand everything about it. Uh, I feel that if you can give us some references and few uh, good materials about 5G, we will be grateful to you. And
Sure.
Pawan sir, my request to you is that in 5G or in 6G, can you take some lectures on 6G also?
Uh, Sorry, actually 6G I have not yet is gone through. I have to understand. But 5G we can make it.
Right. So we can arrange one more session on 5G in
Okay.
due course of time. I will let you know. And
Sure.
my from my side, I congratulate you for a very good lecture and for very encouraging this explanation about 5G. And I must congratulate my club members, IET club members who have worked very hard for the success of this program. And I must say that for anything to get success, it is very important that we must have two things inside us. One is the power of the brain, which is very important. You must collect your energy and then uh, do something, and you collect knowledge about whatever you want to do, and then you can go for it, you can strike on that. But first you have to collect the strength, and that you have done very nicely, Pawan sir. That is evident from your lecture and everything. And I have connected few colleges more, BA College, then RVS College of Engineering, Jamshedpur, then GGPS Bokaro. All these students have witnessed your lecture. And so thank you so much for being with us. And I must congratulate once again Rajat Chaudhary and the Secretary of IET, uh, Rana, and all other members who have contributed. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for your encouraging words. As we have come to the end of this webinar, we would like to present Pawan sir with a small token of appreciation and a memento on behalf of the IET. We extend our heartfelt thanks to sir for sparing us his valuable time and sharing his experience with our viewers. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. And now we will be moving forward to one of the most interesting segment of this webinar, that is Menti quiz.
Since it is an open quiz competition, we want all the viewers to bring in their friends and their roommates to participate in it. To participate in this Menti quiz competition, log on to www.menti.com and fill in the code as 61567120. Or you can also scan the QR code present on the screen and directly enter this competition. We want you to drop in your favorite emoji on the comment section so that we'll see the enthusiastic personality watching this webinar.
Join fast, guys. We will be starting this quiz shortly. As I could see, people, participants have started joining. Let's wait for a few minutes, a couple of
Bring in
minutes,
your
so that
friends as
everyone
well.
can join. So in a meanwhile, let me just give a brief idea about the rules of this quiz. We will be having 5 sets of questions and 4 options for that, and in which only one option is correct. And this quiz is like the faster you answer the correct and fast, more points you will be getting for that. So let's wait for a few minutes so that everyone can join. So, are you excited for this quiz? I want to see your excitement in the comment section. Comment down thumbs up or fire emoji on the comment section. Looks like
Okay, so we
participants
can
are getting
see
excited.
so many. Yeah, and many of them are coming up. Bring in your friends, as I mentioned earlier, and your roommates as well, because there will be exciting prize for the winner.
Exactly. We have very exciting prizes for the winner. So that would not be revealed right now. That will be revealed later on. So I request every participants to join as fast as possible. We will be beginning it shortly.
And if you want those prizes, think wisely and fast as well. You have to do both. So come down, guys. We'll start with the Menti quiz shortly.
Are you guys ready? Shall we start? Yes or no? I need your answers on the comment section.
Are you guys excited? Comment fast, because we are now to begin with the quiz.
Okay. We shall start the quiz with a good note.
All the best, everyone.
All the best. Let's begin with the first question. Are you excited? And the first question is why audio signals cannot be transmitted? We have four options in this. Only one option is correct. So choose correctly and fastly. Let us see how many of you can make it right. And the time is up. Correct option is option C, and I could see only three people made it right. And I'm excited to know that who those three person are. So let's just get to the leaderboard and see who is grabbing the first position. We have Tom at the first position with 954 points, followed by Satyam Kumar with 630 points, and Shiv Anand with 536 point, 86 point. Congratulations, Tom and other two guys for grabbing this first, second, and third position.
So we move ahead with the questions. All the participants think wisely and fast, as I mentioned, so that you can be the winner. So the next question will be on your screen. Be ready. The question is what happens to the satellite speed when the height of the satellite orbit gets lower? There are four options, and one of them is correct. So think fast. Don't take any help from the others. And the time's up. So let us see. Well, the correct answer is option A, and I can see that the six of them have given the correct answer. That's really impressive. So let us look at the leaderboard and see who has topped the charts. Okay, it's fluctuating. Okay, so at the first position, we have Shivanan with 1,275 points. So most of you have answered correctly. And then he's followed by Tom and June and other. Okay, what happened to the rest of you? Answer correctly so that you can be the winner. The tables might turn anytime.
Congratulations, Ivanand. I think that as we are proceeding towards the next question, the excitement level of the participant must be increasing. So, are you ready for the third question? Shall we begin with the third question? And the third question is on your screen right now. The question says the summation of three sinusoidal wave is equal to. We have again four options for that. Let's see how many of you can make it right. 5 seconds left. Choose fastly and wisely. Time's up. Time's up. And Correct option is option A, and only three of you made it right. I'm really excited to see the leaderboard. Can we have the leaderboard, please? Okay, let's look at the leaderboard now. It seems quite shuffling, as only three of you made it right this time. Okay, we have Tom at the top position with 1908 points, followed by Vote Goat. Vote Goat is new here, I think, and followed by Shivanand, and followed by June and rest others. Congratulations, Tom.
So, guys, I hope you all are enjoying this quiz. Participate in it and bring in your friends. There's time. So, we'll move ahead with the next question. Just think and then answer. So, question 4, which says, what purpose does the transducer serve? Not much time, but you have to think. I'm really curious to know who will win this time. So, and the time's up. Let us look at the correct answer. So, the option B is the correct one, and I see that 5 of them have answered correctly. I hope you all are not taking help from your friends. So, we move forward to look at the leaderboard once again. Okay. Okay, so Vote Goat has topped the charts with 2,589 points, followed by Shivanand and then Tom, and then Brown Munde and the others. Congratulations, Vote Goat. It's very impressive and I like it. Okay, congratulations to
Okay,
all of you, and you should participate.
before moving towards the final question of this quiz, I have a piece of advice for the people who were standing at the top three positions. Please choose the next option wisely, carefully, and before time. This could be the table turn question of this entire quiz. Are you ready for the final question, guys? Shall we? Okay, then let's move towards the final question of this entire quiz session. And the question is right there on your screen. Which of the following is a drawback of the amplitude modulation? We have 10 seconds now. Four options, and only one option is correct. Choose wisely and correctly. And the time is up. Correct option is option 4, all of the above. And 4 of the people have chosen the right answer. I'm really curious to know who's the winner. Let's see. Can we have the leaderboard on the screen? Okay, I think there's some problem with the quiz. Let's wait for a while.
So while we wait for the winner to be announced, let us look at the leaderboard and see that no one has bagged with 0 points. Okay, so the winner is here. He is none other than Vote Goat with 2,589 points. Congratulations, Vote Goat. It's really impressive that you entered the quiz in the midway and yet you topped the charts. Vote Goat, we want you to drop in your real name and your roll number in the comment section so that we can contact you further for your prize. We hope that you didn't take any help and you played with full enthusiasm. And yes, you are the winner. See, the tables have turned very fast. Drop in your name in the comment. So, we move further with this webinar. So, guys, are you all apprised of the elements of programming? If yes, well then, we have some exciting news for you. IET Students Forum is all calibrated to usher in a striking event, Gen Z Tech Nerds, a weekly event where your command on coding shall be put to test.
Competitive programming is the key to building a strong portfolio in order to shortlist it by top recruiters in the tech industry. The coding question under this event will be posted weekly on Instagram handle of IET. DM the correct answer and get ready to grab the opportunity to stand out of the crowd. For further updates, stay tuned to IET Students Forum social media handles.
And before leaving, do fill in the feedback form. The link is already made available in the comment section below. And if anyone has any doubts, then they can contact us on our social media handles. And lastly, we want to thank each and every one of the viewer who was connecting with us and making this webinar a massive success. Thank you so much and best of luck to everyone.
Thank you, everyone. We could see that we have a feedback form on the description. So I request every participant to fill this form as soon as possible, because if you do not fill this form, you will be missing the certificates of this session. So let's end this webinar right here. Thank you everyone for attending this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much for attending this.